dollars per coin. Given its recent highs, hitting highs of 100,000, it's not a bad time to cash out, right? Massive profits, nearly doubling their money. Now, is this a form of market manipulation? The idea behind, because this makes a lot more sense. BlackRock, again, has about 100,000 Bitcoins that they transferred into 29 different wallets, selling $188 million worth of Bitcoin, the largest Bitcoin sale ever recorded. And with this, you can see that big red candle supporting the case that, again, huge amounts of selling pressure just presented itself. So with that being said, why is it that they are selling? I love that, right? Because we actually want to understand the why behind it. So BlackRock is likely bought Bitcoin at around $50,000 to $60,000 per coin. Given its recent highs, hitting highs of 100,000, it's not a bad time to cash out, right? Massive profits, nearly doubling their money. Now, is this a form of market manipulation? The idea behind this is that, well, if BlackRock sells, it's kind of like the lighthouse effect. If they see someone that's very powerful and normally performs very well selling, then it could motivate and encourage a lot of other people to sell and maybe panic sell. So it talks a little bit more about the possible market reaction to understanding that if BlackRock is selling, this could lead to Bitcoin's price continuing to sell off because of more panic selling that follows as soon as people begin to find out of who is behind all of this selling pressure. And for those that have not paid attention, again, you guys can see this on the 30-minute time frame. We've seen a lot of selling pressure recently on Bitcoin from highs of nearly 100,000 to, again, all of the selling pressure and all of the selling pressure that we experience today. So why or what does this mean for Bitcoin? Not much right now. And again, this is just my opinion. You guys know that I'm not big on Bitcoin. I don't care for Bitcoin itself. I think it's incredibly overvalued and overhyped up, and it's due for a correction. Now, don't get me wrong. I want Bitcoin to pull on back. And if we look at this on the 1 hour time frame, let me pull this up right now. If we pull this up on the day chart, you can see all of the pullback potential. We have not been able to break support at 90,000. And that is my biggest thing that I want to highlight. Is it good news that Bitcoin or BlackRock is selling Bitcoin? No, it should act as negative selling pressure. But as long as we hold above this $90,000 range, it really doesn't change anything. Until we break below the support that we have not been able to break since it's established it, right? We haven't been able to really break below 90,000. So therefore, there hasn't been more selling pressure that follows. But if we do, then get ready for some selling pressure. And here is why. There's a lot of idiots that purchased at 108,000. And again, you have to think about this. Those people that purchase at 108,000 are probably trading off of margin. If this thing continues to sell off, they will eventually get a margin call and forced to sell and liquidate their position. This is always what happens with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. These individuals are incredibly over leveraged at overbought levels and therefore will get margin called once it begins to no longer go their way. So again, if we do break below that EMA or 90,000 for the Bitcoin price, then it wouldn't really surprise me that more panic selling will begin to sink in, not so much because they want to, but eventually because they will have to. Just like we saw last time, again, platforms also become incredibly over leveraged. And if Bitcoin price begins to crash and sell off and actively sell off, then again, that is the part that really excites me the most because it's going to be, 2018 all over again, when we saw the huge rally and the huge pullback, and not only individuals, but even platforms ended up going under because they were incredibly over leveraged at overbought levels. I see the same thing happening with MicroStrategy. A company that is based off of software that doesn't actually make any of its money truly from its software. It shifted its focus to only buying Bitcoin. And although that might sound great during a bull run, it is absolutely devastating during a bear run. And guess what? Michael Saylor, who's the co-founder of MicroStrategy, borrows against their investors at 0% interest, putting their investors in a very unfortunate position if Bitcoin begins to sell off. And if you think Bitcoin sell-off could be bad, a possible 50% sell-off, just you wait for MicroStrategy because this sell-off will be so much worse. In my opinion, it's not an if Bitcoin will end up selling off, it's a when. And the reason I say that is because every time Bitcoin pumps, it always crashes at least 50%. Last time, or back in 2018, it was an 81% sell off. Back in 2021, 2022, the peak, the sell off, 75%. So a 50% correction. Last time, or back in 2018, it was an 81% sell off. Back in 2021, 2022, the peak, the sell off, 75%. So a 50% correction for Bitcoin itself at current highs would mean that a possible retracement down to 53,000 is likely. And again, that's best case scenario at 50%. So do not be surprised, but also let's not get ahead of ourselves. We need to wait for that confirmation, and we don't have any of that just yet. It's still holding above EMA, it's still holding above 90,000, and it needs to break that support. So there's no reason to celebrate for the downfall of Bitcoin if we don't even have confirmation. Remember, keep your trading simple. So until now, I just wanted to make sure that I kept you guys up to date. This is definitely something that we're going to be talking about this upcoming week during our live trading sessions. And if you want to tune on